Starting off with the graphics related changes for AMD GPU users, shader compilation hitches can now be fixed with a driver update, which sounds like really fantastic news to me. If you happen to have an AMD GPU, feel free to leave a comment down below whether or not this driver update actually addresses the issues that you've had maybe with Counter-Strike 2. I would really like to hear about this. And they also fixed the case where water would appear black in screenshots and video capture. Moving on to the animation changes, they fixed the case where the grenade throw animation would be cancelled by holding the inspect key, which you can see in the background right now. This is how it looked like before the update, and this is how it looks like after the update. You can see that the animation is no longer being cancelled, which I think is a nice change. With this update, they've also adjusted the M4A4 and M4A1S draw animation to start from out of frame. To visualize this best, we will take a look at the footage before and after the update side by side, so we can get a really good idea what has exactly been changed here. We can see that before the update, the animation was frozen until a certain point was reached. However, after the update is just one smooth animation, which looks really fantastic. One thing I would like to point out is, however, for some bizarre reason after the update, the charging handle on the M4A4 is no longer being pulled back, which I'm not entirely sure why this has happened. Maybe Valve forgot about it, but it's just something I wanted to point out because I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to happen. This change is much more noticeable on the M4A1S draw animation, which we can see now in the background. Once again, if we slow down the footage, it's much easier to see the difference. Before the update, it was frozen until a certain point was reached. However, after the update, it's just one smooth animation. And Valve has also made minor animation system performance optimizations, which I'm not entirely sure if this is what they mean, but they somehow messed up a lot of animations with this update. I am pretty sure this is not how you're supposed to hold an AK, this looks very uncomfortable. The same happens with an AWP, and there's also something really bizarre going on here. As you can see, half of the bot has turned invisible. I'm not entirely sure if this also happens with players, I do not have any people to test this with, but this definitely doesn't work as intended, I'm pretty sure. Oh my god, the Max 7 also looks really cursed now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this was not supposed to happen. Valve, please fix. Moving on to the miscellaneous changes, also render votes now require a majority to pass, which on one hand seems like a really good change. However, if you play solo queue, this may be kind of frustrating, especially if you have to play with a full stack. They may just don't want to surrender, so this may be kind of a problematic thing for people that solo queue. Just something I wanted to note here. They've also fixed an exploit where players could spam chat during the Premier draft phase, and also made some more improvements to Premier matchmaking, where they fixed the bug where kicked players were receiving the maximum CS rating penalty, which seems like a really bad thing, to be honest. They also fixed the bug where the first character at the beginning of the terrorist team intro wouldn't render. I'm not entirely sure, by the way, what happened here in the background footage. And they've also made some sort of improvements to Linux, I think. I'm not entirely sure what this change note means. If anyone knows, feel free to leave a comment down below. The Paris 2023 items are no longer for sale, so all of these sticker capsules have finally been taken out of the shop. I think this was the longest sticker capsule sale that we've had so far. Last but not least, let's go over the various bug fixes and tweaks to Nuke, Vertigo, Anubis, and Overpass. I have to be honest with you guys, this time around this was very difficult to spot noticeable differences. I think Valve mainly targeted once again pixel walks and boosts that were still possible and weren't supposed to be done by players. However, with some of these maps I just wasn't able to find any changes, so apologies for that. The first map where I wasn't able to spot any noticeable differences is Nuke. They may have fixed the pixel walk under Heaven, but I wasn't really able to replicate this one, so I'm not entirely sure whether or not it is still possible. It may just be a skill issue, or Valve may have actually fixed this one. Moving over to Vertigo now, this boost that was possible on A side is still possible. I just wanted to start with this one because in my previous video I said they most likely fixed it, but this wasn't actually the case and you can still glitch through the floor as you can see, which is quite problematic in my personal opinion. I really hope Valve will have some sort of solution for this issue very soon. There may have been 2 pixel walks that Valve fixed recently with either this update or the previous one. The first pixel walk was possible on these elevator doors and the second one was possible near T-spawn on these ventilation systems. But like I said, they could have been already fixed with the previous update, so I'm not really too sure about this and I'm quite sorry for not really finding any noticeable changes here. And last but not least for Vertigo, I believe they changed this railing here. Previously I think you couldn't fall off the map and now they slightly changed it to where you can fall off the map. On Anubis, they finally clipped off this pillar on A side, which you can see in the background footage. This is how it looked like previously before the update, and this is how it looks like after the update now. There's certainly still a few more issues present on maps like Anubis. As an example, on A side there's still this boost possible here, so I'm pretty sure Valve still has a lot of work ahead of them. And for Overpass, I believe they fixed this boost on A long, where a teammate could boost you into this tree, which no longer seems to be possible. And they also added this brand new lamp to A side and made some slight adjustments to the graffiti on B side, which should lead to overall better visibility. And those were all of the changes for today's update. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope it was informative. Thank you so much for watching it, and I will see you of course in the next one. Bye guys.